What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Stochastic Best Ball channel. And we are back in the Situation Room, breaking down an actual dilemma you will be dealing with this time in the first round, the back end of the first round of fantasy drafts. This is Dalvin Cook versus Najee Harris, two running backs with very high expectations in 2022. And here to break it down with me is Nick Lepri. Follow him at Notorious Fan FNTSY, at Notorious FNTSY. Nick, how you doing today?
I'm doing excellent today. I'm very excited to talk about these two running backs, as it seems like people are going to be pretty split on these two guys. I have one definitely ranked ahead of the other in my head that I feel very confident with, but I think at the end of the day, these are both going to potentially be top five running backs.
Yeah, and we're drafting him right there to be on the cusp of or enter the top five running backs. By the way, I'm Matt Savoca. What's up, guys? You can follow me at Draftaholic. Always much appreciated. We're going to get into this one, and I was looking at the Osmo projections on a per-game basis right now. Najee Harris and Dalvin Cook have a projection that is to the 10th of a point the same. You have to go to the 100th spot in order to find a difference between their per game projection. To talk about the similarities and differences, that's what we're here for today. We're going to keep this kind of short. Let's talk about the bull case for Najee Harris. Real quick, he is expected to be a leader of this offense. He had a huge snap share and opportunity share, top 2 in the NFL last year, number 1 in snap share among running backs. And they say they want to reduce the snap share, but that doesn't mean opportunities can go down. And I think if you look at weighted opportunities, which values targets a little more than rushes, which we do in PPR leagues, no one was better last year. No one was better in overall targets. I just think that this player, from a volume standpoint, regardless of what you feel about the offense, is going to get theirs. And by the way, that offense has a better chance of improving than you might think because it stunk last year with the shell of Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, so for me, the reason why I like Najee Harris so much would be because I think that the offensive line is going to be slightly better. I mean, last year they were basically just a turnstile, letting anyone in there. I could have went ahead and sacked Big Ben Roethlisberger last year, so things were bad for them. So I'm going to hope the offensive line gets better, and then all we basically need is Najee Harris to be one of the top 3 in terms of targets, receptions, and receiving yards, which he did last year. He was number 1 in targets, number 1 in receptions, and number 3 in receiving yards. Now, I understand Christian McCaffrey was banged up, Kamara was banged up. Yes, but there's still room for Najee Harris to finish inside of these top 3 in all those categories. And like you said, in half PPR, full PPR, and underdog fantasy, what we're talking about today, that's half PPR. Those receptions mean a lot in fantasy football. And I really do believe that Najee Harris is going to dominate yet again in the receiving total. And I also really don't believe there is much competition behind Najee Harris and much of a reason to believe that he isn't one of these elite workhorse running backs in the NFL. There are only a couple in the NFL, and Najee Harris is certainly one of them.
Absolutely. Now, the Bears case, you can make it very easily. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a bad offense right now. They're in a rebuilding year. They were 25th in Football Outsiders DVOA, 24th in Football Outsiders pass DVOA. Is that really expected to get that much better this year, regardless of Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett? Now, maybe we're counting Kenny Pickett out or Mitchell Trubisky on his return tour. Maybe we're saying we're not giving them enough credit, but right now it's really hard to see this offense getting the outs that you need from a touchdown standpoint. You're not going to see a James Conner season where you get 15 touchdowns from Najee Harris at all. And by the way, from an efficiency standpoint, he was quite poor. 53rd in the NFL in true yards per carry, according to playerprofiler.com, outside the top 20 in yards created per touch, 144th among running backs in expected points added per play. The advanced metrics don't like Najee Harris at all. Volume is king in fantasy football, but man, at a certain point, you want your first round pick to be efficient as well. No, Nick?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the efficiencies for Najee Harris just don't look good, but you can make the argument, just like you said, that, the volume is going to be there. The other negative for Najee Harris would maybe be that Mike Tomlin forgot how to coach, right? Because this guy, every single year they finish above 500. Maybe they fall below 500, and maybe things really do get bad in Pittsburgh. They do have a great defense, though, so I'm not too worried as a whole, but the real only negative for Najee Harris is that the quarterback situation is bleak and might only be a slight upgrade compared to the corpse of Big Ben that they were rolling out last year.
Right. And, as much as we say, like, they can improve, PFF had them even lower in the NFL in overall offensive grade. it doesn't mean they will improve. We see teams positively regress every single year. This team needs a quarterback. Bottom line, we don't know if they have one, and it's hard to take a first round pick who hasn't shown a history of efficiency on a team that stinks this much. It would almost be easier if he was a second round pick, but we just simply don't have that many bell cows. People are drafting them in the first round, especially high on Underdog Fantasy, our sponsor for today. Guys, Underdog, if you haven't tried it out, it is absolutely the best part of fantasy football bottled up into a beautiful app or website. Check it out if you have not already and use promo code Awesemo when you do. I've got the legacy gear on today, and the promo code is the same right now. Just housekeeping stuff as we move over to the Stochastic name. And one of the things that we always say is use this knowledge that you can get by listening to the Awesemo Fantasy Football channel or going to the Stochastic. I'm going to do it a billion times this summer. The Stochastic Fantasy Football channel or the Stochastic website, and especially with our best ball and fantasy football package, use that knowledge not just to beat your friends in your home league, but over and over again with these daily drafts that they have available. They've had amazing tournaments released all summer long. The Best Ball Mania 3 tournament rages on, $25 entry fee, and you can win $2 million if you win first place. There are 3 chances in that tournament to win $1 million. They've had the puppy tournaments going throughout the summer with $5 entries, and use that promo code Awesemo to get a first match deposit bonus up to $100. Take advantage of the free money and then use the rankings and projections you know and love over on Stochastic.com. One really cool thing as well is we have weekly packages available for you guys. So if you know that you're going on vacation, you're going to have a chance to, sit down with a beer, have a drink, take a draft, buy it for the week. You don't have to buy the whole season if you don't want to. Really good stuff, and Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play. All right, we move over to Dalvin Cook. The bull case is that he already has been one of the best running backs in the league. In the last 3 seasons, he's been running back 9, running back 2 in fantasy points per game, number 4 in snap share, number 5 in opportunity share, and the offense could get a boost with the new coach, Kevin O'Connell. They are a pass-first team, and that looks good for Dalvin Cook, at least from a PPR perspective. No, Nick?
Yeah, I would definitely think so. I would think that gives Dalvin Cook definitely a little bit more opportunity than prior years to catch passes. Last year, he ranked 26th in targets, 30th in receptions, and 37th in terms of receiving yards. But I think we could definitely see a solid boost for him with the new head coach there, especially if the team really does kind of push into that pass-heavy offense like a lot of people believe they will. And it would make sense due to the head coach's tendencies. I like Dalvin Cook a ton this year, and I believe that he is one of the safer running backs. If there was nothing, if Dalvin Cook magically played all 17 games, he probably would be up there with Jonathan Taylor as like one of the safest running backs in most people's minds.
Yeah, this is a player who we do know has a history of efficiency that can kind of bail out the team, even if they aren't highly efficient as an offense. Now you're talking about a true touchdown upside for Dalvin Cook that we haven't seen. I don't think you simply move away from this running back. I just want to point out that there isn't much further for him to go except in the total targets department. If you're looking at weighted opportunities per game, he's up in the 17.5 range. Could that get up to 20 with a couple more targets? Sure. But I just think you see this team move to a more up-tempo, more efficient yards per drive offense. They were actually number 1 in the NFL in touchdowns per drive. So I actually think that in transitioning over to the bearish case for Dalvin Cook, that there isn't much room for him to grow. I think he's a safe play, but his chances of being the number 1 overall running back hinge entirely on him getting a ton of goal line carries and pounding his way into the end zone. It's certainly in the range of outcomes, which is why he deserves a first-round pick. But I just want to put a damper on the expectation that suddenly he becomes DeAndre Swift or Alvin Kamara. I just don't think that's in the cards for him. He's already getting a humongous opportunity share. And by the way, Alexander Mattison has carved out a small role for himself, regardless of the health of Cook.
Yeah, to be fair, though, he did only score 6 touchdowns last year in 13 games. So you would think that was going to increase, right?
Hopefully we see that, but I also think that some passing touchdowns, Kirk Cousins passing totals in the red zone could come way up this year.
Hmm.
Honestly, this is one of the most interesting dilemmas for me in the entire offseason. I think this team is going to look better offensively, but their actual efficiency numbers weren't bad before. It's really all about health for Dalvin
Yeah.
Cook for me. Now, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. In the Osmo projections, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it's just insanely close. In half PPR scoring, they have literally down to the 10th spot, the same projection. So who for you, Nick, is that top running back?
Yeah, for me, it is very close as well, but I would lean personally with Najee Harris. I really do believe that Mr. Mitch Trubisky or even Kenny Pickett are going to just be maybe not significantly better, but definitely better than what we saw with Big Ben last year. I think that they are both going to dump the ball off to Najee Harris, regardless of who the quarterback is. I think the offense as a whole is definitely going to step up. And I think we can just be convinced on Najee Harris strictly because of the receiving upside. Again, we're talking about best ball. We're talking about underdog. This half PPR. Most redraft leagues are half PPR or full PPR. And you get a huge boost from a guy like Najee Harris, who could potentially get 800 receiving yards if everything goes correct. I know he was nowhere near that last year, right? 467 receiving yards. But if everything goes correct, I definitely could see Najee Harris finishing as a top 3 running back. He was running back 4 last year, running back 9 in points per game. As a rookie, I think he's going to get better in his sophomore season, and I expect this team to be better. So my lean would be Najee Harris. How about you?
This is so close, guys. I'm going Dalvin Cook, though. Our projections technically have him a little bit higher in terms of rush TD probability per game. We're talking about a 47% chance for Najee Harris each game and a 58% chance for Dalvin Cook. Honestly, that little percentage boost is all I need, and we're being pretty conservative in the stochastic projections about the number of receptions per game that Dalvin Cook will receive. Building that upside into my projections there for Dalvin Cook gives me that little boost, whereas Najee Harris, as we said earlier, has fewer outs. You can't go wrong with either of these picks as first rounders. This has been really, really fun breaking it down. Any final words as we head out of here in these best ball situation rooms, Nick?
Yeah, let us know down below in the comment section who you would take. Would you go with Najee Harris? Would you go with Dalvin Cook at the kind of end part of the first round? These guys do go in different spots basically every single draft. It's very interesting to see how people view them. So let us know down below in the comment section. Make sure you hit that thumbs up down below. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button as well. It really does help us out a ton.
It really does. Yeah, well said, Nick. Guys, this has been really fun. Let us know what you think. Let us know who you would draft. Until next time, he's Nick. I'm Matt. Follow him at Notorious FNTSY. Follow me at Draftaholic for the Stochastic Best Ball channel. We'll see you guys next time.